So I just want to say a few words on the magnetic power of love, and more specifically going after your heart's desires, going after those things that light you up, that create an inner fire on the inside, those things that internally you say yes to and your whole body says yes, and you feel alive and magnetic even when you just think of them. That is a really strong indicator as to the direction that your higher self is unfolding towards. And of course you can ignore those and go with a conscious rational mind and go for something that doesn't really fulfill you or make you feel as excited as you could be. However, I truly believe that excitements and passions and desires were placed in your heart for a reason. And following your highest excitement, your highest joy, is about allowing yourself to be pulled. A bit like Rumi says, allow yourself to be pulled by the strange draw of what you truly love. It will not lead you astray. And many New Thought authors talk about this. James Allen talks about it. Christian D. Larson talks about it. And it can also be proven scientifically. Many years ago, I interviewed Howard Martin from HeartMath. And HeartMath is an organisation where they look at the heart rate variability, which is the beats in between the heartbeat, the rhythm, heart rate variability. And by measuring that, they can see how coherent your heart is, which means how smooth the wave is. So how is the beats like synchronous, basically? Is it like doof, 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 doof sort of thing? And they found that when you're in a state of appreciation, you have a really smooth wave versus if you're in fear or anger or stressed, your heart emits a very, very different frequency, very different wave. And they even have biofeedback machines to allow you to train yourself into that state, into that coherent state. So not only can you use visualization, feeling of the wisher field, etc., but you can also use these external methods to visually see. If you're a person that wants to see things and wants to see the science behind it, then you can also do that. And I believe that by following what interests you, what lights you up, even if it doesn't really make logical sense, even if you were thinking, well, I should really go in that direction, however, this has really piqued my interest and maybe I should do this. This is really following the divine flow of the universe, and it's really allowing life to come through us and life to flow through us. You know, the grass doesn't strain to grow. Birds don't freak out like looking around trying to find food. You know, everything in nature is effortless, and also your desires are effortless. And if we allow ourselves to fulfill our heart's desires, we're growing. So by following the desires in our heart, we're always evolving into more of our higher self, essentially. We're always evolving into more and more resonance with love, because by giving yourself what your heart desires, that is a true indicator of self-love. By taking action on the things that are in your heart, those secret desires, those excitements, those ambitions, those things that you just really, really love, you're giving yourself that belief to say, yes, I am worthy of having this thing. And really it's about doing it for the love. So no matter what the outcome would be, you do it because you love it. And because you love it, and because you're so excited about it, and because it's something that's most likely never ending, you just find more and more and more and more inspiration. And the word inspiration comes from the Latin inspiro, which means in spirit. When we're inspired, we're in spirit, because those ideas aren't coming from the conscious mind, they're coming from somewhere else. And they're coming when most likely we're relaxed. And so when we're following our heart's desires, we are getting excited, we're getting passionate, we're maybe thinking about creative ideas, we're getting into the flow essentially. And just like Sky Nelson Isaacs says in the book Living in Flow, when we're in this state, that's when synchronicities can occur. That's when ideas pop into our mind, or we walk past somewhere and then there's a book or somebody mentions something and we're like, oh yes. The reason for that is because we're focusing our mind on that direction. We're focusing our mind on what lights us up, what fulfills us. And by doing that, we're fully appreciating the now. We're fully immersed in the now. We're not thinking about the past or the future. Why? Because the now is so ridiculously enjoyable. And in fact, you'd probably rather not be anywhere else than what you're doing. And it's a feeling of alignment, and nobody can tell you what your heart's desire is. Even if somebody sees you doing something, one job, and you've been doing it 20 years, but in your heart you've got a passion for something, an enthusiasm for something, then nobody knows your heart like you do. And nobody can say anything about your heart because they don't know it. Only you really know your heart, and only you really know your heart's desires, and only you really know deep down those things that bring you life, and those things are energizers. And it might be a multitude of things, and that's cool as well. And allowing ourselves to be nourished by those energizers is allowing ourselves to be fully who we are, and to stand in our truth, and to say, yes, this is me. These are my heart's desires. This is what I love. This is what excites me. This is what gets me up in the morning, no matter what it is. I mean, I'll share something with you. For many years, I didn't feel comfortable to put this information out. So you'll see on my channel that I was very stop-start. I'd put something out there. Sometimes I'd make it unlisted and then put it away, and then I'd be like second guess myself, and I'd think, what are people going to think of this information? And I didn't ever fully let myself be in my desires all the time. Like, I'd let myself do these things, but then I'd be like, oh, what's that person gonna think? Or that person, if they see this channel, what are they gonna think of me? Like, are they gonna think this of me? And my mind would make up all these stories. And I got to a certain point where I was like, you know what? I love this stuff. Like, I really love it. And I'm not going to be ashamed for what I love. And if other people don't resonate with the material that I share, like, that's absolutely fine. That means we're probably not a match in friendship or otherwise. And, I had to get to that place where I was okay with doing something that other people might not understand or get, or be as enthusiastic as me, because I am really enthusiastic about it, and I'm consuming material all the time, and I have done for years. The joy that I felt when I was once in a room at the Intention Experiment conference, and I briefly went upstairs, and there was Roland McCraty there, Marilyn Schlitz, Lynn McTaggart, and just meeting these people, interviewing them, and being, right at the, I guess, sort of cutting edge of where consciousness studies was going, and all of that kind of stuff was just so exciting. And I had this internal, I remember feeling absolutely ecstatic, that wow, this is what I'm here to do. This is all I want to do. I can't think of anything else I'm more passionate about. And I'm here to say, if there's something in your heart, no matter what it is, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your circumstances, whether it's in anything really, that you can't stop thinking about, that you're passionate about, that you've maybe engaged with for many years, that's maybe a hobby or it's just something you've got an interest in, but it's been there constantly, it's been a constant interest of yours. Allow yourself to have more of it in your life. Allow yourself to be immersed in it, if you like, because that is truly you. That is truly what you love. And what you really love, you'll be committed to, because you don't want to do anything else. And if you're really committed to something, and if you really love it, then it shows, and people can feel that. People can feel it because they can feel the authenticity of it. And and then when you're getting into that alignment, then really it's kind of nothing else just doesn't feel as good, essentially. And you'll probably always end up returning to that heart's desire. And that's all I really want to say. I really love to hear your thoughts on this. That love is a magnet, and your heart's desires is a magnet. And by getting into alignment with what we love, we can draw things and circumstances to us, because we're on that frequency of excitement and possibility, and just wanting to see how things will unfold, but being in the moment, enjoying the process. I'd love to hear your thoughts.